What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one is between two players, and I should say two of the best players currently on the planet in their specific races. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of Dreamcatcher LE, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently up 2-0 and wants to keep the series rolling in his favor. His name is Serral. And his opponent, spawning in the top left hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's down but certainly not out, and wants to show that he is still one of the best players on the planet. His name is Stats. So guys and girls, you guys can check out both of these games on the YouTube channel, and I hope you will, because I will say, guys, that these this game in particular was played at Blizzcon, and obviously this was the grand finals of what was as a whole at Blizzcon, the global finals of Starcraft 2. And I gotta say, starting out, I mean, you see Serral just absolute, winning in dominant fashion. Showing, all the different ways that he is so good at playing StarCraft 2. And I am very interested to see how our Protoss player is going to react here in this game, in particular, against, listen guys, we all know that Serral is the best player currently on the planet, and there is no question there because of all the tournaments he's won in a row. But Stats, guys, is easily one of the top 3 Protoss players in the world. I believe actually he's probably the best Protoss player currently on the planet. There's other guys that you could put into that conversation, but I would still say that he's the best. With Serral, just the dominant fashion right now as a Zerg player, he seems to be obviously, without question, the best player on the planet. I mean, you could always say Rogue is really good, Dark is really good. There's a lot of great Zerg players out there, but Serral, I don't think there is any question in anyone's mind, is the best Zerg player in the world, and let alone, of course, the best player on the planet. So let's get into, guys, what is going on both both spots here on the map and our players. Looks like Stats is going to go for that Stargate play once again. He's going to begin the Warp Gate research. Serral is going to be going ahead and getting the Zergling speed upgrade. Do you have one Adept that's coming over to what is the third base location of Serral, and just trying to get a little bit of some information. That second base is now being taken, since he was kind of denied that a little bit earlier. Not necessarily denied, but that, had a probe from Stats that was trying to, just be a little bit of a nuisance. So Serral decided to take his third base instead of his second base first. Does look like Serral is going to sacrifice one of his overlords just to get some scouting information, and this is always a very good idea, just to see exactly what your opponent is doing. Stats is now on 2 bases, going with, of course, the Phoenix, and now into some Oracle play as well. So there are going to be more and more Zerglings coming out for Serral. And then, of course, he has more and more Queens coming up as well. So pretty soon here, guys, it looks like, so far in this series, both players have really given each other a lot of respect in regard to just how, obviously both these players are very good, and they've played against each other numerous amounts of times. But giving each other, so much respect, as far as, just knowing what the other is capable of doing is very, really exciting to see. Now, there are some Zerglings that are going to see if they can, start nibbling away, maybe get a little bit of that scouting information going. And very interestingly enough, a few of these Zerglings are going to go ahead and get the surround on those Adepts. Beautifully played here by Serral so far. Kind of baiting his opponent into going after one of those Zerglings, and then getting this around on all of those adepts. Beautifully done. And this just shows you just how good Serral is, guys. +1 is going to be coming up here for Serral. Another Phoenix is going to be coming out here for Stats. So more and more queens coming up here for Serral. He tends to get a lot of queens throughout the course of a match. Loves having that queen production, not only for spreading creep, but also just for having that, really stellar defense. Stats, on the other hand, guys, is really starting to just try to build a bigger and bigger economy, and I love the decision there. We got 2 robotics facilities coming up here for Stats. Very interesting decision there. But he does have a couple of Stargates out. He's going to go ahead and have a couple of robotics facilities, and then he's got that 3rd Nexus coming up here. I wonder if Serral is going to allow this to go down, though, is the big question here. We do have a lair coming up here, as well as more and more drones. So maybe Serral sees something where he feels just more and more confident in droning up. But these Zergling run-bys are very, very smart. Looks like there are going to be, okay, so Banelings into, going to have some Banelings, and then, of course, some, it looks, as well as those Zerglings here, but Stats is on top of it, knows exactly what's going on, and Serral seems to decide to back off, at least at this point. And there are a lot of Phoenixes here. These Phoenixes can do substantial amounts of damage if given the time there. A lot of Phoenixes. So you got like 7 Phoenixes, and those can do substantial amounts of damage if you allow them to. And it does look like Serral is going to try to get a couple of probes there. Does do exactly that. But these Phoenixes can really do damage if you're not careful. They can take out an entire mineral line in a matter of seconds. There are so many queens, though, out, though, at this point. And this is really going to keep the Zerg at home, though, at this point. Really going to do a lot of damage here. Just going from one base to the next, doing whatever Stats can to stay in this game. And he's starting to take slowly but surely, a little bit of a lead. And so many drones are going down here to our Protoss player. Very well done here by Stats. But Serral, of course, is not out of this game just yet. He is behind. Looks like 3 bases now. Stats is fully saturated on. And Serral is now going to be getting his 4th base up and running here shortly. But Serral's going to have to get a handle on these Phoenixes, because they are just slowly just chipping away at so many drones. And it does look like now there's going to be more and more gateways coming up, and more and more Immortals coming out as well. So now here we go. These Zerglings are going to see, what is maybe going on here. And Serral, who loves knowing exactly what the opponent is doing, is going to see the kind of unit composition that his opponent is going for. +2 is going to be started here. And then, of course, there's going to be one of the Hydralisk upgrades going up as well at this time. So, I mean, look, guys, we're kind of at a standstill here. +2 is going to be started here for Stats. And then, of course, guys, more and more, as the longer this game goes, I'm going to really like the position Stats is in. He has got a lot of High Templar at this point, and a lot of Immortals. And so it's going to be a very scary army to kind of move into here as we go. But I got to say, neither player is completely out of this game yet. But Serral is starting to really build up an army, and he is spreading creep like crazy. This creep spread is getting completely out of control. Stats is going to have to, find an answer for this creep spread. And, obviously, it does look like Serral is going to be kind of held off a little bit here. Looks like he's going to try to move in with some of these units. Do not want to lose those High Templar to some of those Banelings. And pretty good defense there by Stats. And all of a sudden, it looks like a 5th base now is going to be going up. This War Prism is going to be, possibly going to be warping in some units here relatively soon. There is going to be a warp in here. And I think Serral really is probably going to already know about this. There's only going to be 4 Zealots here so far. And these Hydras are going to be threatening once again at this 3rd base location here. And it looks like the Locusts are now out, and they are going to go after all of those High Templar. Oh my god! The amount of damage he just did to some of those High Templar was absolutely huge. And here come the Banelings. Those Immortals do take so many Baneling hits. It's unbelievable. Very it seems like at this point Stats has been able to hold on against his opponent. Did not lose all of those High Templar, which would be absolutely devastating for our Protoss player. It does look though that Serral is going to have to kind of hold off here on this push once again. He's going to try to find somewhat of an angle here to maybe, wiggle into, or I should say, kind of roll his way into. These Banelings are going to go right after the mineral line and barely do any damage. And it does look like Serral is starting to move on multiple fronts here. Going to go right after that mineral line with all of those Locusts, as well as these Banelings are trying to get in there. Beautiful force fields there. And then, of course, you have the Hydras are going to be kind of pushed back as well here. So Stats is not out of this thing just yet. He's playing this very, very well. The thing I'm worried about, though, is Serral has such a huge economy right now. Serral is going to have, a substantial army as far as, or I should say a substantial economy. Now, 4 bases for Stats is really going to be helpful. But it does look like, once again, Serral has taken the fight to his opponent. He's going to drop all these Locusts right on top of those Immortals. And just like that, he's starting to move in. And GG is called. And Stats has to GG out against his opponent once again. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and Stats. And if you did, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. And as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.